Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillahi wa ba'd. Hafsa, can you tell me where we are? How far did you guys get last time? Last week with Abdul Salam. How far did you guys get? How far did you guys get last time with Surah with Brother Abdul Salam? Sister Khadija?
In this book?
No, in the Quran.
Oh, in the Quran. That's right.
I wasn't here. I had a substitute teacher.
We got to. Surah in oh yeah. You should have done it if you had.
You should have finished the whole surah, right?
No, we only got to this. Half.
No, it should be takwir.
No.
It should have been takwir, right?
It's 81.
81, takwir.
Yeah, he did to 6.
That's it?
Yeah,
Wait, like two?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When the seas become a fire, the jinns will come.
Yeah, you should have finished the surah. Okay. All right, anyways. Huh? All right. Surah number 81.
No, we didn't finish.
This is the one we're on, 81. Yeah, we're on 81. He started it.
Yeah.
So what is the main theme of Surah Takwir? Number 81.
Like the rapture.
It was? Speak up, please.
Like the rapture.
The rapture. Basically, the destruction of the earth. And we talked about why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us of this. Simply said, is to scare us straight. That He has power over all things. Everything that we see will be destroyed. So we should prepare for our afterlife. So you said he did the first 6 verses?
Yeah.
We'll start from number 7. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim.
I think we definitely did the girls that was really long. I'm sure we did. We did.
All right, I'll go through the whole thing. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. إِذَا الشَّمْسُ كُوِّرَتْ. When the sun shall be wound and its light lost and overthrown. وَإِذَا النُّجُومُ انْكَدَرَتْ. And when the stars shall fall. وَإِذَا الْجِبَالُ سُيِّرَتْ. And when the mountains shall be made to pass away. وَإِذَا الْإِشَارُ أُطِّلَتْ. And when the pregnant she-camels should be neglected. So the first 3 verses are similar to ones that we've read before, that the sun will lose all its light and be destroyed, the stars should fall, the mountains and the earth will crumble, the pregnant she-camels will be neglected. So pregnant she-camels was something that was very, very valuable at that time. Camels were there. Their economy was based on camels. And if you had a pregnant camel, that means it was gonna deliver children. So that was a windfall investment for you. And they would never, in their right minds, neglect a she-camel that was pregnant. But that day, nobody will care about anything except for themselves because they're scared of what's going on, the destruction of the earth. وَإِذَا الْوُحُوشُ حُشِرَتْ. And when the animals will be gathered together. Wuhush is jama of wahish, Hafsa. Wahish is the singular of an animal, beast. It's like a wild animal, right? So wuhush is the jama. وَإِذَا الْبِحَارُ سُجِّرَتْ. And when the seas shall become, they will overflow. وَإِذَا النُّفُوسُ زُوِّجَتْ. And when the souls shall be joined with their bodies. So our bodies that have been in the earth and the souls that have been separated from it will be returned to each other, so we'll be alive again, we'll be resurrected. وَإِذَا الْمَوْءُودَةُ سُئِلَتْ. And when the female infant that was buried alive shall be questioned, بِأَيِّ ذَنْبٍ قُتِلَتْ. For what sin was she killed? So this was something that used to go on at that time, where um, the pagan Arabs many times would hate to have a daughter, so that they would bury them alive. They would bury them alive because in their mind, you know, sons would bring them more wealth. They would go out, they would trade, they would farm, they would do work and bring wealth to the family, where girls just cost money. And they didn't have Sephora and Ulta back then, right? But girls just cost money to them. So they would just bury them alive. And this was a crime, and the Quran speaks against this. So it's using kind of a rhetorical device here, where that girl will be asked, why were you killed? And she'll blame her father, her parents, that I was killed for no reason. She will show her innocence because she was innocent, right? وَإِذَا الصُّحُفُ نُشِرَتْ. And when the written pages of deeds of every person shall be laid open. وَإِذَا السَّمَاءُ كُشِطَتْ. And when the heaven shall be stripped away and taken from its place. وَإِذَا الْجَحِيمُ سُعِّرَتْ. And when the hellfire shall be set ablaze. وَإِذَا الْجَنَّةُ أُزْلِفَتْ. And when the paradise shall be brought near. So we'll see that the heavens will be taken away. The hellfire will be emboldened to blaze even further, and paradise will be brought near for those to witness it, who will be awarded a place in paradise. And after all of that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Alimat nafsum ma ahdath. Every person will know what he has brought forth. If somebody has done evil in this world, they'll know it. And if somebody has done good in this world, they'll know it. فَلَا أُقْسِمُ بِالْخُنَّسِ. So verily I swear by the planets that recede. Al-Jawal al-Kunnas, the planets that move swiftly and hide themselves. So these are just different names of the different planets that, some of them move, some of them don't. So these are the things that Allah is swearing by. And He swears by وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا عَسْعَسَ. He swears by the night as it departs. وَالصُّبْحِ إِذَا تَنَفَّسَ. And the dawn as it brightens. So what did we say about when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swears by something, takes an oath by something? Why does He do that? He wants to pay extra attention to what's coming next. Move down so they can use the table too. We're on chapter 81 in the Quran. If you don't have a Quran, if you need one, they're in the red box here. You got it, Robert? Chapter 81? Verse 19 now. Innahu laqawlu rasulin kareem. Verily, this word, this Quran was brought by an honorable messenger, meaning the angel Gabriel, right? That it was brought by an honorable messenger who did not make any mistakes and who brought the message in full. ذي قوة عند ذي العرش المكين, the Arshi Makin, owner of power with a high rank with the Lord of the throne, right? So we know Gabriel to be the archangel. He has a higher rank than the other angels, and he's closest to Allah's throne. Muta'in thamma amin, that he is obeyed, meaning the other angels obey him, and he's amin, he's very trustworthy. So these verses establish the rank, honor, and trustworthiness of the angel Gabriel. So after this, nobody can question whether maybe Gabriel made a mistake in what he was revealing from Allah to Muhammad. Did he make a mistake, or did he add to it or subtract to it? So after these verses, no one can say that because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has declared that he is trustworthy. And these points are important because if you look historically at the people of that time, what did the Jewish tribes used to say? They used to say things like Gabriel made mistakes in his revelation of the scriptures. Because if you bring doubt upon Gabriel, then everything is doubtful. So this is why these things had to be cleared up. وَمَا صَاحِبُكُمْ بِمَجْنُونَ, and your companion, meaning the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, is not a madman. This is one of the claims that they made. The people of that time would claim mostly three things: that he's a madman, he's crazy, he just says things. Or that he's a magician, and this is all magic that he's brought. Or that he's a liar. And none of those three things were. This was just what they wanted to say, but none of them were anywhere close to the truth. وَلَقَدْ رَآهُ بِالْأُفُقِ الْمُبِينِ, and indeed, he saw Muhammad saw the archangel Gabriel in the clear horizons towards the east. One time, when the angel Gabriel came to him to give a revelation, he saw the angel Gabriel in his true form stretching across the horizon. And when he would describe this to people, they say he's crazy. This couldn't have happened. So this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that no, this was true. What he's saying to you is true. In this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is protecting and defending his prophet. وَمَا هُوَ عَلَى الْغَيْبِ بِضَنِينٍ, and he, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, withholds not the knowledge of the unseen. So whatever knowledge that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, has of the unseen, he tells people. He told the people what he saw. He told the people what he knows, because he's the messenger. And he's not hiding things from you either. وَمَا هُوَ بِقَوْلِ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ, and this Quran is not the words of the devil, of Shaitan, the outcast. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks the question, فَأَيْنَ تَذْهَبُونَ, where are you going? The Quran is here. It's true. It was brought by a true messenger to a true messenger. All of it is true, so why do you keep running away from it? Why do you keep making all these excuses to run away from it when you see that it's the truth? While this was addressed to the people of Mecca at that time, it's always applicable. Because if somebody studies the Quran with a clean heart, they'll know that it's true. So after knowing it's true, why are you running from it? Where are you going? Where are you going to go? We can't run from the truth. In huwa illa dhikrun lil alameen. Verily, this Quran is nothing less than a reminder to all of mankind and jinn, the whole universe. Liman sha'a minkum an yastaqim, and whomsoever among you wills to walk straight. Right? This is a reminder to all mankind, and it's a reminder that's accepted by those who will walk straight, meaning walk on the straight path, walk with their principles. وَمَا تَشَاءُونَ إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ. And you cannot will unless it's Allah's will, the Lord of the Alameen. So none of us can walk on the straight path of guidance just because we deserve it or something like that. It's only because of Allah's mercy that He allows us to be guided. It's Allah's mercy that He allows us to do good deeds. It's Allah's mercy that allowed us to be in class today. So anytime a good deed is presented to you, don't think of it as something small. It's an opportunity from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for you to do that good deed and for you to be on guidance. So never think of it as a small thing. Any questions? On Surah Taqweer, on the day of resurrection, on the questioning the afterlife, on the truthfulness of the Quran. Any questions? So next week we don't have class, right? Because of a long weekend and people will be traveling. So we won't have class next week. We'll resume the following week, right? Which is going to be the 3rd of January? 3rd of January, inshallah. All right, excellent. We're almost done, actually, with the 30th part of the Quran. And we're almost done with our book, so I have to get you new books. Inshallah. All right, moving right along. We are in the last chapter of this book too, alhamdulillah. How far did we get here last week? We didn't go over the book? Okay. Oh, we have a quiz this week. You didn't go over the book last week? Did you go over the book last week?
No.
Okay. Did 2 hadith. Okay. No, so chapter 11 is done. We're about to start chapter 12, and chapter 12 is the last chapter of the book. Right. So we'll finish this book probably in a couple weeks. We have a quiz?
Yes.
Go for it.
Right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
And after the quiz, we'll read some hadith.
Everyone goes to quizzes. Or chat.
Listen up and get the quiz code.
It's been a while. Join quizzes?
Yes. Three, 5, 4, 4, 9, 1.
Sabah, where are you going? Abdullah, bring her to me.
3544. Everyone in? I think everyone is. Are you guys in?
Yes.
She's scared.
Are the guys in?
Father, did you guys join the quiz?
Yeah.
He's in.
Are you joining quiz? Nothing. Nothing.
Is
All right, starting. The quiz is starting.
You understand now? You just don't understand. Huh?
Oh, this is what it does, it's like, business, you know, no, it's just the beginning. It's the one that you can do at your own pace. That's not what I like. Are you doing it too?
No, I see their quiz first.
I look forward to doing it. Oh, I didn't know that's what it was going to happen. You're ready to go.
How do we know when everybody's done? You'll know? Okay.
That means two people that need. Because I only had one kid.
Take points from your school.
Uh-huh.
No, I don't.
What's going on?
But I didn't hit you. You had a shield.
I don't know.
That's cute. That's cute.
It's not you.
It's so cute. It's so fun because if you get it right, you get a B. And then hit someone, oh my God. But I didn't feel like picking anybody else because they weren't here. Then I decided you can skip it, so you can actually skip it after this.
Oh, I didn't do that.
All right, I think that's it.
Do it anyway.
That's it.
So you just missed the
Ready?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Did it on purpose, right? Come next so you don't have to do it.
All right, so Sister Deanna was first, Sister Manal was second, and Sister Asia was third.
MashaAllah.
That's not
Oh, why?
It's hard to beat Sister Diana.
class accuracy 54%, you guys.
Maybe the questions were too hard.
Maybe I should always make the questions. Because I didn't.
Which questions do we need to go over?
All of them.
All of them? All right,
We can go through all of them.
sure. Number one, what was the most important objectives of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon his mission? To perfect noble character. What is the Arabic word in the Quran used to refer to faith? Iman, taqwa, bir or sabr? Iman.
It said wrong.
Iman is right.
But Bill came up with it. Yeah,
Faith is Iman.
yeah, I put that, but it said wrong.
Is it wrong? It was looking for Bill because it was what was in the text. And I hadn't studied.
Bir means goodness.
Anyway,
Bir means to do goodness to people. It doesn't necessarily mean faith.
You, Diana, we should have used our strikes on Natalia.
What, I wasn't there.
I know.
Okay.
but I got
You were
it
supposed to check the quiz.
I thought I did.
Well, it's not my fault.
I didn't say it was your fault. I didn't say it was anybody's fault.
They keep saying.
It's my fault. It's my fault. It's my fault. It's my fault. I was supposed to check it. What is the first and foremost objective of fasting? To remain conscious of Allah. Losing weight, improving health, save money. We don't need to save money while we're fasting. Not with all that fried food. Where's the rest of these questions? Oh, okay. Number 4, which act will enter people into paradise most? Piety and good character. What did the Prophet ﷺ guarantee for those who have good character and manners? A house in the highest part of paradise. Oh, okay, what event is described in Surah Al-Fil, chapter number 105? Fil means elephant, so it's the destruction of the army of the elephant. If you remember that one of the kings brought an army of elephants to destroy the Kaaba, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected it. What was the primary theme of Surah Al-Quraysh? The blessings granted to the tribe of the Quraysh. Quraysh was the tribe that the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, came from. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in that surah reminds them of the favors and the blessings that they've been granted. What's the question? What's the question?
The Abbas Lokar, the leg just went.
Yeah? What's the question?
She asked why I picked,
Oh,
the one particular response.
Okay. Which actions are criticized in Surah Al-Ma'un? Neglecting prayers and withholding small acts of kindness. Ma'un actually refers to small acts of kindness. So, for example, your neighbor asks for salt. Salt has no value. It doesn't harm you in any way to give them salt. Right? So these small acts of kindness, somebody who would deny somebody that is just somebody who's like really petty. So we're told not to be that way. Or like, it refers to very small things that have very little value. What is the main message of Surah Al-Kawthar? The reward and abundance granted to the Prophet Muhammad's peace and blessings be upon him. Al-Kawthar is a spring in paradise from which the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, will serve water to those of his followers who are blessed to drink it. And that's especially significant because on the Day of Judgment, that will be the only water which we can drink. And also it'll be because it'll be very hot and we would be standing there for such a long time. Who did the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, describe as the best women of the earth? Maryam and Khadija. Aisha and Fatima is also very close. They were mentioned in another narration, probably. Which of the following companions was not amongst the 10 was promised paradise? Khalid bin Walid. That's a good question.
What?
Which of the following companions was not amongst the 10 who were promised paradise? How did the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings, instruct his companions to send salat on him? O Allah, send salah upon Muhammad as you have done on the family of Muhammad. Then he said, Ibrahim. Yeah. This is the second one. What did the Prophet Muhammad say about those who deliberately lie about him? That they will take their place in the hellfire. Nobody can lie about the Prophet and say that he said something that he did not. According to Hadith number 8, what type of servant does Allah love? The one who is self-sufficient and avoids showing off. So you had to study for this. Because if you didn't study, you wouldn't know which things were mentioned in which hadiths. So, next time, we should study. Any questions? All right, let's finish up. We'll read hadith number 17.
Are those in the red box?
Yes. Hadith number 17, please. Right? You did 16, right? Last week? Yes? No? You said you 15 and 16 you did last week?
Yeah, 117 now.
About 17. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وبعد عن أبي سعيد الخدري قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول من رأى منكم منكرا فليغيره بيده. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri narrates that he heard the Messenger of Allah say, if any of you sees an evil, let him change it with his hand. فَإِن لَمْ يَسْتَطِيعْ, and if he's not able to, فَبِلِسَانِهِ, then with his tongue. فَإِن لَمْ يَسْتَطِيعْ, and if he's not able to, فَبِقَلْبِهِ, then he should test it in his heart. وَذَلِكَ أَزْعَفُ الْإِيمَانِ, and that is the weakest part of faith, or you could say the lightest part of faith. So if we see something evil happening in the world around us, and we have the power to change that thing, then we should work actively to change that. If we don't have the power to physically change it, then we should do so by advising people and speaking out against it, and hopefully through our words enact change of what is happening. And if we can't even do that, which a lot of times is the case, then at least we should hold that sin is detestable in our heart. And that's the very least of what we can do. So, for example, they're building a casino in Henrico, right? They're building a casino in Henrico. They just passed the law for it. So, as Muslims, this is evil because it leads to gambling. Gambling leads to a lot of social vices. It'll lead to more crime. So it's something that is wrong and evil. Does any of us have the right to change it? No, we can't really go and stand there and stop the bulldozers from building the building. Can we speak out against it? Some Muslims went to a town hall and did speak out against it. Unfortunately, they weren't listened to. So what's the last thing we can do? We hate it in our heart. And we don't like that this place is being built where evil is going to be propagated. So this is an example of the levels of relationship we have to something that's evil. Any questions? And this goes for a lot of things in our society today, right? Alcohol or drinking is widespread. Murder is widespread. Drugs is widespread. We may not be able to change it, but we hate it in our hearts. It's not something that we accept. We still feel uneasy about it. We still, if given the chance, we'll speak out against it. We can't become complacent. Is another word of saying it. We can't just be like, well, I don't care. It doesn't affect me. We still, in our heart, detest that thing. All right. Let's do one more. عن عبد الله بن عمرو بن عاص أن رجلا سأل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أي الإسلام خير قال تطعم الطعام وتقرأ السلام على من عرفت ومن لم تعرف. Abdullah ibn Amr narrated that the Prophet ﷺ said, what type of deeds of Islam are the best? And he said to feed people. He said to feed the people and greet those with salam from whom you know and those who you don't know. Feeding people is mentioned over and over again in the Quran. If we have food, people around us should not be going hungry. So we should look out for our neighbors, friends, people who may be hungry, and try to feed them. And this is considered one of the great acts of worship. Another thing that's mentioned here is to greet people with salam, whether you know them or you don't know them. And if we all acted upon this, when we go into the masjid, it would be a nice, much more lively place. People wouldn't feel alone. What happens when a new person comes to the masjid? Sometimes they feel alone because people aren't greeting them. So you should say salam to somebody who you know, and even if you don't know them. So once again, as we mentioned before, the Prophet ﷺ taught us manners in even the most, what we could say, smallest situations. And that's meant to promote harmony in our communities, build our relationships with each other, and make people feel welcome and honored. Any question on those two narrations? All right, if you guys want to eat, you should just said so. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika wa ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. You should have questions.